Hey guys, welcome to Red 50. Welcome to another video. Today we've got something very exciting to talk about, and that is the S650 Mustang Shelby GT500. Yes, Mustang has been on rumor mill recently. We've got the Mach 4 rumors going on just last week, and now we're talking about some leaked document that suggests an S650 GT500. Normally, I would kind of excuse all of these leaked documents and renderings because a lot of people are just trying to create hype. But this one, the fact that it was removed from Reddit, the poster who posted it on Reddit was told to remove it, so now the post no longer exists, leads me to believe that it was very, very official. So we're going to talk about the S650 GT500, the engine, the performance, the transmission, and even the pricing and what it could mean for the S650 Mustang sales. Now, since I can't post up the document that was leaked, let's talk about it real quick. Essentially, what this document said is that there's going to be a legend engine for the S650 Mustang generation for the GT500, and that document was a union document, making it to be a very official internal document that was posted by one of the Redditors that shouldn't have been out there, which is why it's now taken down. So that pretty much, we kind of knew the GT500 was going to be coming for this S650 Mustang, but it is very exciting to see something somewhat official but unofficial from Ford itself. Now, I'll be honest, I don't even know where Ford could go with the GT500 as far as the performance is concerned, because they have pretty much given it everything that they had with the S550. So with the GT500, the S197 was basically the pure muscle car you could get with the 5.8 liter supercharged version, making 662 horsepower, which was absolutely crazy for back in the day. But it was pretty much just that. It was a muscle car. It wasn't really known for turning. It was just more of a straight line car, kind of like a Hellcat and Demon these days. Now with the S550 Mustang GT500, we actually got still 5.2 liters supercharged engine, making 760 horsepower, but it was a muscle car that could turn. It's got the carbon fiber package, and it's got a lot of track goodies, and people actually track those cars, and they're much better than the S197 GT500 was in terms of tracking capabilities. Now, while the engine went from 5.8 to 5.2, which was a downgrade in terms of sizing, it has more power. It has almost 100 more horsepower. And not to mention, this was the first time the GT500 was not available in a manual. So you could actually only get it with the 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which was also a first for a GT500 or any of the Ford products. And from a performance standpoint, I know we have to focus with the DCT, but we don't really talk about that. But the GT500 dual clutch automatic, 5.2 liter supercharged V8 engine, and a muscle car that can really do well at the track. So it was pretty much the pinnacle performance that you can expect from a car that a body starts from like around $30,000 with a Mustang EcoBoost. Now with the S550 GT500 pretty much being maxed out and the S650 chassis is very similar to the S550, I have to say the GT500 in general is pretty much maxed out. It's got 760 horsepower in the S550 form, which is pretty crazy, and it can handle the track pretty well. So what can Ford do differently with the S650 GT500? That's what I'm curious about, because let's talk about the engine, the transmission, and also tracking capabilities. So transmission, I feel like Ford is definitely going to offer some sort of a manual. We're going to have a carryover of the 7-speed dual clutch transmission because it worked pretty well. They're not going to develop a new automatic transmission. And while the manual take rate was relatively low in general with the Mustang GTs and all the other cars, I feel like this would be unfortunately the last generation or last GT500 that we will see that is going to be a gas car. Eventually, they are just, for the next generation, we're going to be moving some sort of a hybrid or electric version of these Shelbys. So my guess is that for transmission, we're going to see the manual come back, and that's going to be one of those final or last call additions that will pretty much drive up the value, and it's just going to sit in someone's garage collecting value until 40, 50 years later, where you can find these cars with pretty much no miles on them. So yeah, for the transmission, I feel we're going to see the return of the 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, and we are going to have some sort of a manual transmission option. It might not be the regular edition, it might be some sort of a special edition, but I think Ford is going to bring back the manual transmission for the GT500. Now let's talk about the engine. I feel like that's where it gets very interesting, because the 5.2 liter supercharged V8 is pretty much maxed out. You could probably tune it up a little bit more, maybe change the pulley, get 800 horsepower, but that's pretty much it. You won't be able to do much, and Ford doesn't really have any other engine. There is the Godzilla out there, but you really can't boost it, and you want to have the GT500 have more horsepower than the previous one. So I don't think Ford is going to stuff up a 7-liter V8 engine in the GT500. So it's going to be the same engine, 5.2-liter supercharged V8, but if it's making 800, 850 horsepower, it's just not going to have enough bragging rights compared to the S550. And I feel like every Cobra or GT500 upgrade has enough of a, from a generation to generation, has enough of a horsepower difference or a unique engine that kind of forces people to upgrade their existing GT500. So if Ford puts out pretty much the same engine with a little bit more horsepower, it's not going to do the trick. So I have a feeling Ford might just surprise us and still use that 5.2 liter, but put twin turbo. Yes, the twin turbo V8, which would be absolutely crazy in terms of torque, in terms of horsepower, and it will do pretty good with the gas mileage. I know Ford doesn't have a twin turbo engine ready with the V8 at least, but I feel like that is something that Ford could develop. Of course, that's going to mean a really high price, but we'll get to that in a bit. But a twin turbo GT500 with a manual might be the last call edition or something like that, where I feel like they're going to switch it up, because ZR1 has a twin turbo. That was also something Corvettes were known for, a V8 and a supercharged V8, but Chevy switched it up and finally put a twin turbo V8 making over 1,000 horsepower. Now, I'm not saying a GT500 is going to make over 1,000 horsepower, but even if you get like 850 or 900 horsepower with a twin turbo V8 with insane tuning potential, that is going to be really good and something unique where people, even if they have a S550 GT500, they would be tempted to upgrade. Now, of course, that is going to mean a significant price increase. The GT500 MSRP for the S550 was around $80,000. So if Ford decides to give a manual version, or if they definitely decide to put a twin turbo, the price is going to increase. And I think they're going to want to keep it below $100,000, but it's going to be very, very close to that price point, and that kind of scares me with the sales numbers. We already know that the S650 Mustang is struggling to sell because of its price and not having a huge upgrade compared to the prior generation. And the dark horse really starts around $64,000 for the base one. And if you want to get a premium dark horse, it easily gets into $70,000. So Ford is not going to have a GT500 sitting at $80,000, $85,000. So it will likely be over $90,000, and that is something where we get into the dollar value or the performance, perception. I feel like it's just not there. Imagine if you have $100,000 sitting, you could get a slightly used Z06, or you get a GT500. And Z06, in my opinion, is a much better value and much more exotic, and just has a lot more to offer as a track car than the GT500 would. So pricing will get very tricky. Either Ford will repeat the same mistake that they did with the S550 GT and the S650 GT, where it's more or less the same car for a little bit more money, and people are just choosing not to upgrade, which could be the case with the GT500, or they decide to really switch up the things, go twin turbo, offer a manual version, offer more track goodies, make it even better handling, but then you run into the price issue where if you get it very close to $100,000, there's a lot more cars people would probably buy before they put that money on a GT500. And even as a Mustang fan, if the GT500 cost $100,000 and I had $100,000 sitting with me, I would probably go with something else than a GT500. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got for the GT500. It is very exciting that there is some sort of a document that officially hints at GT500 is going to be coming for the S650 Mustang. But it concerns me what it could offer and what the pricing will be, to be honest. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like this video and comment below what are your thoughts on the S650 Shelby GT500 coming. And of course, I've got the Red 50 for more videos.